92nd Street Y online media is made possible by the generous support of listeners like you. This program, Funny People, features Sid Caesar in conversation with Larry King. It was recorded November 2nd, 2003, before a live audience by New York's 92nd Street Y.
How did it all start? How did Show of Shows start?
Show of Shows started when we were doing a little play on not a little play, it was a musical on Broadway, excuse me, called Little Me. And it was quite a successful one. And then they said, Pat Weaver, who was then vice president in charge of television for NBC, came over and said, "We'd like to see you." So we made a date in a restaurant with Max Levin and myself and a bunch of lawyers, and we sat down in a restaurant. And I looked at the restaurant. I looked at the menu, and I was looking, and I was saying, and he said, "Do you want to do an hour and a half, or an hour, or an hour and a half, or a half hour, or an hour?" I said, "I don't want to wait an hour and a half." "To get a sandwich for an hour and a half?" And he said, no, not that food. You want to do an hour and a half show? You want to do an hour show? You want to do a half hour show? And I looked at Max and I said, might as well do the hour and a half. We didn't realize what it entailed to write an hour and a half show every week for 40 weeks and live. No cue cards, no teleprompters, nothing. You got out there and you were on your own.
And what a stable of writers.
Oh, the writers. First of all, we had Mel Brooks. Then we had
Neil Simon.
Neil Simon and his brother. Then we had Carl Reiner. Then we had Larry Gelbart. Then we had Woody Allen. All these men were in the same room. All these men, it was like riding a chariot of horses. Boy, you got to hold them back. And you could, I wouldn't settle, and I wouldn't settle for this, I wouldn't settle for that. And with these kind of writers, you can do that because they come up with it. Somewhere they come up with it. And I was in the room, the writing room. I wasn't upstairs, twirling, hitting golf balls. I was.
You were involved.
I was in.
You were also, it is said, and I think you write of this in Caesar's Hours. You were kind of a taskmaster.
Yes.
You were tough.
I wouldn't give in to, that's funny. I said, no, it has nothing to do with, you see, if you take every little side, everything you have, every sketch, if it's 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever, it has to have a little story. Because if you don't have a story, they don't believe you. And if they don't, and if you don't believe what you're doing, the people are not going to believe what you're doing. It's a matter of them caring. Because if you're doing something and if the people care about you, they're rooting for you. They want to see you. It's like, say there's a big yacht coming this way, and there's a little guy in a rowboat going this way, right? And the yacht goes right past the guy with the rowboat, and his wake turns him over. And now which one are you going to stay with? The guy on the yacht smoking the pipe? Or the guy in trouble with the rowboat? He doesn't know where to get it. You're going to stay with the guy with the rowboat because he's what you're interested in. How is he going to get back? What is he going to do? How is he going to pay for the boat? How is he going to do this? And you're interested and you're caught in. And that's also, and then that's when you have a joke that's from left field, which has nothing to do with the situation. That's when you break it. And people don't believe you anymore. That's why.
You were a natural sketch comic, right? You liked, it is said you were very shy, you were not a monologist, you didn't go on stage and tell jokes. You had to be in a scene.
Yes. The only way I could relate is through characters. Because if you believe the man, when you walk into a sketch, they have to know in the first 10 seconds who you are, who you're married to, what your situation is, where you work, what you do for a living. It all has to be, boom, right up front, so you know when the next thing happens, you can relate to it. And I always started off a show with a domestic sketch, because a domestic sketch people can refer to, because they go through it every day. What do you mean you're going to put the chair there? Don't put the chair there. Why? Because I don't like to sit there. Well, why don't you like to sit there? Because I don't like to sit with the sun in my eyes. Well, why don't you sit there? Why don't you? And all of a sudden there's an argument from nowhere. And people understand that's where the arguments come from.
How
from
long
nowhere.
did that? Of course.
You ever notice that?
Still true to this day.
You get up, you get up in the morning, and all of a sudden your wife says, "You want to come, or are we going to wait there?" I'm coming. So what do you want? Well, why don't you? Well, don't holler at me. I'll holler at you. And all of a sudden you're in a situation that you just woke up. Just said, get out of the way. You're going to lay in bed all day. So you're in a situation right away. And that's what comedy is. Comedy is you're in a situation where everybody's been. And you're trying to get out of it. And you're trying to make friends with it or whatever. And the comedy is, I'll show you. I'll give you an example. There's an old man and an old woman. They're sitting down, and they have, in their window, they have 2 blue stars. That means they have 2 suns in the service. This is during the Second World War. And all of a sudden, they're sitting there in the rocking chair, and they're reading, and they're getting along. And all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door, telegram. Open the telegram, your son has been tragedy. And she gets up in the chair, she starts to walk upstairs, and she collapses on the stairs. Her husband gets up, runs over and tries to pick her up, and he falls down with her. Now he falls down and they fall down. The dog starts to bark, runs out, and gets run over. And then they want to come back, and the people come in. Oh my God! Look at the grab his legs. No, you grab her leg. No, you grab the top leg. I'll grab this leg. You push her. Now you drag her. No, put her up. No, don't come in here. We're all set now. You gotta hold her up while we bring him underneath. While we you put her on top. Put her underneath. Let her go underneath. Why should I take her? No, you got to live. All of a sudden you're in a different situation, and that's when Charlie Chaplin. I saw the picture, City Lights. He was always running away from cops. Always running away from cops. And he saw that there was a red light, so he ran towards the red light, and then he ran through the back of the cars. He ran through the back of the back into the back seats of the cars, and the last car, he slams the door. And how do you tell a blind woman in a silent movie that the man is a rich man? How do you do that in a split second? And this is when he slammed the door in the last car, and the blind girl, she offered the lilacs, and she knew he must have been a rich man because it sounded, when the slam of the door sounded like a limousine, which it was. And all of a sudden he looks at her, and immediate love. He falls in love with her, and she offers him the lilacs, and he takes out his last dime, and he gives it to her, and she gives him the lilacs, and he follows her, and she walks over to a water fountain, and she rinses out the cup, and she throws the water in his face. Now at that moment, there's a hush, because the people don't know whether to laugh or keep quiet. And that's what I call working both sides of the street.
Mel Brooks said, tragedy is if I cut my finger. Comedy is if you fall down a manhole.
That's right. That's right. If you go, look at this. I got a boopy on my thing over here. Look at that. I cut myself while I was there.
Sir, Okay, here's what happened, sir. He was late.
Yeah, I was having a...
I did 10 minutes. I told about my early career. He came in. He ran in a marathon. Then he did the Japanese guy. Then he did the Italian. Then he told about how show of shows began. And then he did a little humor. And then he did a story of what makes things funny, right? Now we're up to Mel Brooks.
Now we're up to Mel Brooks.
Is it true?
Yes.
True or false?
True or false?
That you hung Mel Brooks out of a window in Chicago.
That's right. We were at the what the hell was the name of that? The Palmer House. The Palmer House in Chicago, and we were on the 18th floor. And I had just finished doing 9 shows at the Chicago Theater. And I can't eat in between shows because I just can't work. I take a little snack, a little this, a little that. And then I finally get, when I know I'm going out for the last act, I call up the hotel and I say, I want a nice, real good steak, and I want some mashed potatoes with it, and I want some this, and I want some bottle of sparkling Burgundy, and I'm going to have that. Okay, okay. I do my last show. Now I go up to the apartment. I go upstairs and I sit down. I get all undressed, put the robe on, and I sit down to eat. And Mel Brooks says, "Let's get out." What? Come on, I want to go out. Come on, we were in all day. I was in sitting with you all day. Come on, I want to go out. I want to go out. Mel, I just sat down to eat. I want to go out.
You opened up the window and hung him out.
I picked him up. I said, "You want to go out?" And I opened up the window, and I grabbed him by the back of the neck and the seat of the pants, and I say, "Out." "You want to go out a little further, or you out far enough?" He says, "No, no, 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 this is about out far enough." I say, "Don't you want to go out a little further?"
I think it's right to the left, lady. Right to the left, hook or right. I don't know how to tell you what this does to a performer, but 2 weeks from now, he could be sitting in L.A. How did it go with the shul? A lady walked out. Right? Performance.
That's the only thing you remember. Everything could be wonderful, wonderful, and a little lady walked out.
You went through a bad season in your life. You write about it in the book, where you were drinking.
Yes.
But never in performance, right?
No, I
but
never
you'd get
drank.
drunk after the show.
After the show, it was whoopee time. But you see, I used to think drinking was fun. It's not. For the first 15 minutes, it's whoopee, yeah, oh sure, hey, look at that boy. And then after that, it's, what'd you say? Well, you guys are right in here, and I'll tell you, the rest of your evening is mishmash.
Did you like Laughter on the 23rd Floor, the play about you and the writers?
In a way I did, in a way I didn't. Because why did I take the pills? Why? And why did I drink? Because I couldn't get to sleep. On a Tuesday night, the show was Saturday night. Monday night you get in and you start to talk about this, and then you talk about that, and you talk about this subject, or that subject, or this movie, or that movie. And and when you go to sleep, it's, no, we'll turn it this way. No, we did one like that. No, we'll do it that way. Turn it, no, we'll go it this way. No, we'll do it that way. No, we did that before. We will go back. And I could not get to sleep. So I had to take pills and booze, and I knocked myself out. And I would, But the terrible part was I never had a hangover. If I had a hangover, I'd be sick. I'd say, I'm never going to do this again, but I never got a hangover, which is too bad. But after a while, when I got a little older, I woke up, whoop, what is this? And the hangover came. And that's when I started to think about stopping drinking.
Was it hard?
Of course it's hard. But when you know that your life depends on it. I'll never forget, I was in Canada. And I was doing a play called Last of the Red Hot Lovers. And I've done the play maybe a couple of 100 times. And I got out there, and I could not remember one line. I could not remember a line. And I was so embarrassed. I said, this is the bottom. And they took me off the stage. And I went in my little dressing room, and I looked at the mirror. And I looked right at the mirror, and I said, Sid, you want to live or you want to die? No gray area here. Yes or no? You want to live or you want to die? I said, I want to live. And that was the first time I asked for help. I went to the hospital, and I stopped drinking. That was it.
How long was your show of shows on?
Show of Shows was on from 1950 to 1954. Then Caesar's Hour, and before that we did an hour of Admiral Broadway Review. We were on about 10 years. 10 years.
Of fresh skits every week.
Now, you know, live is a different animal. Completely different animal than what they're doing today. Live means no cue cards, no teleprompters, you're there. And what you have to do when you're in that situation, you got to help each other out because you can see the other guy. And you know when somebody's going up in their lines because you can see it in their eyes. That's why acting is mostly listening and watching. You watch the other person and you listen, not just for your cue, but you listen to how he says his line. Then you can come with your line. Because if you're just going by cues, it's just a matter of, you know, pick it up. But you get his mood and then you can add to it.
So acting is reacting.
Acting is reacting.
Did you ever do serious roles?
No.
Why not?
Because
You'd have been great.
There are better actors than me. Much better actors than I. But in comedy, that's a different story.
Another thing you never did, it's in the book, you discussed it with me on television, you never broke up on the air. You never, Imogene Coca would crack up, Nanette Fabre would fall down, Carl Reiner would break up, Morris would break up. You never broke up. How did you not laugh when, like you do in that scheme with the Swiss clock, coming out, banging on the head, the thing going back in. This is your life. When the guy cracks up, they're going to do his life. And how could you not laugh?
Because I take it seriously. Comedy is a serious subject. Getting laughs is the hardest thing you can do. Getting to cry, all you got to do is pet a dog and give it some ice cream, and that's it. But you must believe in what you're doing. You have to. Otherwise, the people won't believe you. If you don't believe it, they won't believe it.
So you can force yourself not to laugh, even though it's obviously funny.
Yeah, because why? Because if I do, I break the spell. Comedy, you build up and you make an atmosphere of you're leading up to a laugh. And you don't want to break the laugh. Break it before you get to the laugh. A lot of people, you know, they say, well, we'll do something funny and we'll do this. No, you got to respect the people, respect your audience. Never play down to them. Always play to where they have to think a little bit. You know, it's like I don't know how to say it. It's your own play. You're making your own atmosphere. You make your own wanting to do it. And you want to do it, and you want to do it, and you have to do it. And that's what has to drive you. And when you get a laugh, that's wonderful. That makes you feel, wow.
What was Carl Reiner's genius? Great straight man, right?
Carl, you have to be a good comedian to be a good straight man.
Got to be funny. Dean Martin was funny.
That's right, because he was a funny man.
But Abbott was funny.
Right. Abbott and Costello, wow. Because he's the other part of it. I mean, you're bouncing off him. It's like if you're playing handball and you don't, you get somebody that's not with you. It's like playing handball without a wall. It's the same thing. If you get an audience that doesn't react, it's like you go whack, and nothing comes back. That's what playing handball. But when it comes back, whack, here we are, we're in the game. and you play with the audience, and you have fun with the audience. And you got to show love, because that's what it is. It's the loving of doing something.
How old are you, Sid?
I'm 81.
How's your health?
Well, I have a hernia. It's been operated on 3 times, and 3 times it came back. So I'm not having any more of those. Also, I have spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spine. But there's a way of saying, it's your attitude. Attitude, it's how you take things. Truly. It's how you take things. You could be sorry for yourself. Well, you know, look at me. Why me? Why God? Why me? Why did I do it? Why me? Why did I? Forget why. Forget that. It's here. You got to deal with it. How was it? All right?
Okay. Thank. We're going to take some questions from the audience, but before we do that, many years ago, I've done many hours with Sid. By the way, Sid has a collection of tapes out that are wonderful, highlights of the show of shows.
Oh, yeah.
You can get them everywhere. He has his own website, right? SidCaesar.com. Caesar tapes. The book comes out Tuesday. It'll be available. I saw it in the Borders bookstore today. Caesar's Hours. It's a delight. You'll have a great time looking at the tapes. But years ago, Sid was on my radio show, many appearances, and we did a bit.
Oh, yeah.
This came out of nowhere. This was totally by accident.
We were in Washington.
Yeah, Washington. I hope this works, because it's just totally ad lib. But I introduced him as a famous psychologist, Dr. Harvey Karnow. And Dr. Karnow has a theory of living in the now, that you must live in the now. Would you explain that, Doctor?
Surely.
It's very, now you got to pay attention. This is living in the now. Explain.
You know how fast the now goes by? You know how fast the now goes by with the speed of light?
It's gone.
186,000 miles per second. As you say it, it's gone. And where does it go? It goes into the was. That's a was.
And once it's a was.
Once it's a was, the gonna be is coming up.
So all you have is 3 things: a was, a now, and a gonna be.
First, you got the now. Don't forget that. The now, was, and gonna be. See, that's the new moment coming up. You can change. In that split second, you can change from, or if you go into the was's, there's a lot of people walking around, I should have done that, yeah, because I would have, they never let go of the was. They never let go of the, it's a was.
But how do you grab the now?
The now is coming up, whether you like it or not. See, the was, a lot of people dwell on the was. I should have told her. Nah, he should have told me. Well, if I would have told her, she would have. Meanwhile, the nows are passing you by.
So do you anticipate the gonna be's?
You got to look forward to the gonna be. The gonna be is gonna be the new now.
But once it's gone so fast.
Yeah, but you got to keep pace. This is the pace of your life. Now it's gonna be. Now it's gonna be. Now it's gonna be. Now. And if you get in that rhythm of now it's gonna be, and forget about the bad was's, learn from them, learn from the bad was's. Then you don't have to go shoulda, coulda, I coulda, shoulda, I shoulda, coulda, and look forward to the new now, which is coming up and the gonna be.
So in other words, if you could learn from the yes, from the was.
Learn from the was.
Live in the now. It's going to be a good gonna be.
If you have a good now, you're going to have a good was.
Dr. Karnow. Now, we did that years ago. That was all off the top.
I truly live by that. I do.
You do?
Absolutely. You know, with all this pain, I say, hey, you get used to it. You can get used to it. I mean, it's a way of saying, hey, it's there, but,
do you miss performing?
In a way, yes. But in a way, no. See, when I retired, I didn't have to be anywhere. I didn't have to go anyplace. I didn't have to make people laugh. I didn't have to do this. I didn't have... And to do this is a pleasure. See, before it was a work. This is not work. This is pleasure. Because I like...
It's our pleasure. You provide pleasure. All right, if you raise your hands, I'll have you to stand up and speak as loud as you can. The gentleman here.
Can anybody...
Working with Lucille Ball. What? Memories of working with Lucille Ball.
I worked once with Lucille Ball, and she knows what's going on all the time. And she's a funny lady. Very, very funny. And she's a beautiful lady.
She died, Sid. It was a was.
Lucille Ball is dead?
It was in all the papers.
Yeah, see, you don't pick up a paper once in a while, you don't know what the hell is going on. No, but you make your own life. You're in charge of you. You are in charge of you. And I'll never forget, I was giving a lecture someplace, and the lecture was about television. So all the people in the audience were producers or directors or... Take your time.
Hurry up, sir. We're almost into the encore.
You want to sit on a table?
I'll sit over. There's a table here. Oh, is that the wife, sir?
Everybody got to stand up.
No, now the whole row got to stand up. Okay, you settled?
Okay. I feel better. Okay. Good.
Lucille Ball, or where were we?
Where were we taking questions? Oh yeah, I was doing a lecture at I think it was Columbia University, and everybody there was connected with television. And I said, you know, the show was an hour and a half. It was done live, and that's the way it was. And the first question arose. He says, Mr. Caesar, we understand that the show is an hour and a half long, but could you tell us how long did it take to shoot the hour and a half?
What time do you tape?
I said about 90 minutes. And it's true. He said, but what if you don't get any laughs? You don't have a laugh track. I said, then we go a little faster.
You know what you did when Jackie Gleason told me once, what you guys did in those days, you were doing a movie a week.
Yes. You
were literally doing a movie a week.
It was the first act of a Broadway show, because that's the way we thought of it. We thought of it in terms of a Broadway show, of the first act of a Broadway show. And we tried to give the people, you know, when we did a satire of on the waterfront. We called it On the Docks. And I did Marlon Brando, and Carl did Lee J. Cobb. And there's one part where he's going to shoot me. I see. Remember the part in the taxi cab?
That's with Rod Steiger, with the brother.
Yeah. He's like, you're gonna. What's the matter with you? You're gonna shoot me? Why? I'm your brother. I could have been a somebody. I could have been a champ. And you're gonna shoot me? And he starts to shoot. Bang, 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 bang. Why are you shooting at me? Are you that mad you have to shoot at me? Bang, 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 bang. You know, I never knew why Mama didn't like you. You know why? Because you never wanted to wear glasses. And that's why now you're cockeyed.
Next. Over here, the gentleman. Stand up, sing it out.
Yes.
Who?
Robin Williams. I think, is a tremendous comedian. Oh, he is. And I think Billy Crystal is one of the best. And, yeah.
The lady. Yeah, how did you find Imogene Coca, and what was it like working with her?
Imogene Coca, we used to work with Max Liebman. And they used to be up in the Poconos, and they used to do these shows. And when all of a sudden NBC said, you're going to take a chance, they were taking a chance. The whole show, an hour and a half. You hear what I'm talking about? An hour and a half, prime time, 9 to 10:30. The orchestra, the scenery, the costumes, the makeup, all the people, and the carpenters, and the stagehands, and this. The bill for the end of the week was $64,000 for the whole show. That's for the musicians, for the writers, for the people, for the W. And they were going.
What was Imogene's genius?
Imogene fell right in with it. She would go with you on the situation. It's when you practically don't have to rehearse with somebody. You have to rehearse. But when you're working with somebody who just fits in, she fits in, and she's smart, and she was so strong, she really was, and she used to come out, not a raving beauty, but when she would come out and put that wig on, and she'd walk out and like this, she looked like Anna Magnani.
Yeah.
And boy, when she came out, she sexed around the place. I mean, she really, I looked at her again. Look at her.
How about Nanette Fabre?
Nanette Fabre was also, but she had her own style. And she fit right in. She fit right in, and she did. It's a matter of fitting, matching. When you get married, there's a lot of rough edges you got to get done. But once those rough edges are off, then you come together.
Did you spot the genius in Woody Allen?
I knew all of them were geniuses. They really were. I mean,
Woody was young then, right?
Woody was about 21, 22 years old. And brilliant. I mean, brilliant, but very shy. I mean, he was so shy. He would sit, and wait. And then there were two guys who would whisper to Carl. That was Neil Simon. Neil says you got it. Neil got it. Here's a punchline. And these guys were so shy. They had to talk to Carl. Carl jumps right up. Hey, wait, we got it. But with Woody, he had it, and he couldn't say it. And finally he saw what Neil was doing, so he went to Carl. He said,
What a crew. Next. Right here. The professor. Did you have a favorite character?
Yeah. The professor, I'll show you about the professor. In mountain climbing. When you go up and climb up a mountain, say you're on the tip of the mountain and you see that your safety rope is about to break. Immediately.
Yes.
And I mean immediately.
What?
As soon as you see that rope start to break, immediately you fill your lungs with air.
For what purpose?
And then you start to scream. And you keep screaming all the way down. So they'll know where to find you. But there's another method, you understand. For another method, when you see your rope is starting to break, you got about 2 seconds. Immediately, you spread your arms. And you start to fly as hard as you can. And he said, Professor, were you ever hurt? I took a flop from Mount Slippery. 18,978 feet for a flap, straight, no curves. Bang! He said, was you hurt? You see this little tip of my pinky? That's all that's left of the original me.
They reconstructed you.
All the rest is new. This is all new. It was a great plastic surgeon. Just took the tip of my pinky and made me all over.
Next, right here, the lady. Who gave you your outlook in life? Was it your father, your mother? Where did
My brother Dave.
Dave.
My brother Dave was my father. Because my father was so busy, you know, taking care of the restaurant. My brother used to work nights in the restaurant.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Yonkers, New York. Yonkers, New York. And
So your brother was your mentor, like?
oh yeah, we would walk along the street, you know, and he would say, he would do French. I said, no, Dave. Le son près de toi, les sons sont plus chutement forts. Le couteau te les entraîner. Le chemin bois, le son près, mas du marcherai. You can make him think that you do. Partout je ne pas du ça. Sous le centre, les chambres à mi bas parfois.
What did your brother do for a living?
My brother was working at my father's restaurant.
Oh, he didn't go into the business or anything?
No, Dave was, my brother Abe worked from 6 to 6 in the morning. My brother Dave worked from 6 at night to the 6 in the morning, and that was it. Because we were open 24 hours a day. Because as long as the lights are on, you might as well do business. And as I'm talking in the 30s.
What kind of restaurant?
It was a buffet, it was called the St. Clair Buffet Lunch. And you went up, and oh yeah, I used to see the signs on the windows. 3 eggs, any style. Toast and rolls and coffee, 15 cents. Yeah, and that was it.
Huh.
And in those times, every little thing meant something. My family was very, very funny. My father was funny, he had a sense of humor. I was sitting in with one time, and we're sitting in practice, we're watching a stage show. And 3 guys come out and they sang a song, and then when they went off, my father said, that must be a very, very hard song. Took 3 people to sing it.
The languages you do, you don't know any foreign language, do you?
I haven't the slightest idea what it is.
So you think?
I think in English. I do.
No, this guy, he like Japanese. You don't know one word of Japanese.
I think that, but you see, the best language is to do is to make them feel that you know what you're saying, like in French or say in Italian. Ma culla piace lo pudore, ma così fiaro, non to so capala più te lo dono, vittolo tu non giocare. Ma mannaggia la sulle che però più le calate, che ne so tutte, la cotala, e vende la sciolotte, palavattole che l'atto non sono dei.
Now, what are you thinking? You don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm saying, get out of here.
You are watching genius. Right there. You have a favorite skit?
Oh no, there's so many sketches. It's you can't make a favorite.
But all of us have our own favorites.
Oh, you all have your own favorite, sure. But
I love the one where you were 6 couples in the house.
Oh.
2 couples were going to the theater. 1 was going to the movies. 1 was going to have dinner, and you were all going to meet later. And you were arranging everything. You'll go with her. You'll go with him. You'll go with him. You went to the bathroom. You came out. You forgot yourself. Everyone had gone, and you're alone.
What we did was, we were going to go to the movies, and we did 2 sketches like this. The first one we did was, well, hey, we're going to go to this movie. Let's go to an old movie, you know, something that we saw, and we can have some fun with it. And this, hey, yeah, I tell you what, you know, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs are playing, and so and so. Yeah. Oh, gee, the 7 Dwarfs. Oh, I know them. Hey, that's my favorite picture. I know the 7 Dwarfs by heart. Let's see, there was Sleepy, maybe with poopy and bippy and lopey and zippy and zippy and a weepy. And Carl says, no, there was no weepy. I said, hey, you're talking to a fellow who saw the picture over 100 times. I saw the picture over 100 times. There was a weepy. There was no weepy. What do you mean? You want to make a bet? I'll bet you $100 there was a weepy. You want to make a, okay, okay, the bet's on, $100, right, you got it. Now, how are you going to prove it? Well, I'll call up Disney. Picks up the phone. Hello there, yes, I'm calling from New York, all the way from New York. It's a $3 call. And I'd like to talk to Mr. Disney. Very, very important. Hello, Mr. Disney. Yes, we're over here, and we have a large bet of about $100,000 that there was a weepy in the Seven Dwarfs. Well, does your wife know?
Next. All right, right there, the lady. Speak up. Oh, yeah. This is your life.
Oh, this is your life.
When he's sitting in the audience and he doesn't want to do the thing.
That we did.
Was Al the man's name? I think it was Al, right?
Al Duncy.
They made a bet. It's one of the great skits of all time. Another great skit is the takeoff on Mike Wallace's Night Beat when the guest is sweating.
Yeah, when he's talking about. And when you played your 1967 tax, were you sure that you? What are you pushing me with taxes?
I've got to do this Yitzhak Rabin dinner. I know you're enjoying this very much. So, can someone come up and take questions from the audience for Sid? Do we have one? Somebody here could. Oh, okay. What's the name of the interlocutor? What? Oh, this is the co-author of the book Caesar's Hours, Eddie Friedfeld. And thank you very much. I've got to go. I just got to tell you one quick Yogi Berra story. A teammate of Yogi's went up to Yogi one day and said, "Did you hear what happened today, Yogi? In Israel today. Today in Dublin, Ireland, they elected a Jewish mayor. In Dublin, Ireland, they elected a Jewish mayor." And Yogi said, "Only in America." Thank you very much. Sid, I love you. I got to go.
Thank you.
Hi, Sid.
Hi. Now what are we going to do?
I'm going to answer some more questions. It's like sitting in your kitchen working on the book. There's just a couple more people in the audience.
Okay.
How did you feel about the movies in contrast to, I'm sorry? Your live performances.
What?
How did you feel about the movies you did as opposed to the live performances?
The live performance?
As opposed to the shows?
How did I feel about the movie?
Movies. It's a Mad, Mad World.
Oh, the movies. Oh, Mad, Mad World. Can you imagine getting up every morning about 5:30, have a rush breakfast, and you run down and you get in the limousine and they take you to this place, and you sit around from 8 o'clock in the morning. You sit around from 8 o'clock in the morning with 25 of the best comedians in the world. And you sit there, and it was unbelievable. I mean, all around you were giants, and you felt like, well, I finally belong, you know? I finally belong. And to have that kind of and to do a picture with Stanley Kramer, we did a scene where we were shooting for a whole day and going over the same scene, the same scene, the same scene. At the end of the day, he said, "Don't print anything. Don't print anything. We're going to do this scene tomorrow because I want to run off it in one shot, no stops. So after dinner, everybody in the scene came to somebody's room or suite, and we went over the lines and went over the lines and went over the lines and went over the lines. And then, after that, we came on 8 o'clock in the morning, first shot, and we did it in one take. And he said, "What are we going to do for the rest of the day?" I said, "Let's keep doing this scene. We know it."
Over there.
I can't hear.
Did the Dick Van Dyke Show, did Carl Reiner base the Alan Brady character on you? When Carl did the Dick Van Dyke Show, did he base the Alan Brady character?
Oh yeah, that was based on me, and what happened during the writing of the show. Yeah, it was based on Show. There were a lot of things based on Show. Yes. That was one of the qualifications, yes. But he also had to be funny. And he was very funny.
What high school did you go to?
Yonkers High. What?
No, she thought you lived in Bensonhurst.
What?
She thought you lived in Bensonhurst.
Bensonhurst, no. I was born in Yonkers, New York, September 8th, 1922. And that was it. Yes. What?
The parodies of Japanese movies.
Oh, the Japanese movies?
Are they available? Yeah, they are available.
They are available, yes.
They're available on DVD. You can go to sidcaesar.com.
SidCaesar.com.
Yeah, we just made a sale.
Make by Manhattan.
In Make by Manhattan, you played a telephone and a jukebox. And do you remember doing that?
No, that was I was a penny slot machine. I was a penny chewing gum machine. Penny chewing gum machine down in the subway. And I used to stand there, and the customer would come over, and I peppermint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Peppermint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Yes, sir. 1 penny. Thank you, sir. There's your penny. There's your peppermint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Peppermint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Yes, sir. 1 penny. There you are. There's your penny. Thank you. And one day I was empty, and I said, "Whoa, boy! Yeah, I better not sell any gum because I haven't got any." No, please, sir, don't give me the penny. I don't have any gum. No, please, sir, don't give me the penny. I don't have any gum. Here's your penny back. There you are, sir. No, please, don't give me the penny. I don't have any gum. No, please, sir. Boom, bang, boom, bang, bang. What was all that about? The guy gives me a penny. I don't give him gum. I give him his penny back, and he beats me up. Oh, that's the one I play. I'll play that way. Peppermint, spearmint, juicy fruit. Peppermint? Yes, sir. 1 penny. Would you like to try again, sir? Surely 1 penny. Thank you. And that's the way it went on, month after month, week after week. And finally, one day, the guys came down to fill me up. And he opened me up, and he saw those thousands of pennies, and not one stick of gum missing. And finally, one guy said to the other, "Hey, this kid's got talent. We're wasting him down here in a penny chewing gum machine. Let's take him to Vegas. Let's make him a slot machine. Let's make him a dollar slot machine." And there I was, all brand new lights, all neon, flashing around. There I am, in Vegas. Yes, sir. One coin. Thank you, sir. Just put it right in. Would you like to try again, sir? And that's the way it went on. And finally, one day, it happened. I heard a knocking at the door, and in they came. Bang, 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 bang. And the guy was going to hit me with an axe. No, no, no. I'll give you all the chips I got. Bang. Boom. That's the story of a penny chewing gum machine. Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, he actually spoke German. Yeah, I remember that. De andere lichten aan de slepen aan, dat de officieren van de richter aan de slepen aan, getting dressed up and slicked up, and de andere willen aan de achterom. Augen für Augen, Schläge über Augen. Looking to mehr auf dein Wohl. Du bist der Schlickes auf dem Wohl. You bist der Schlickes one, you bet your sweet life. And then I went outside. Excuse me. And I turned around, and I was all dressed up, general's uniform. And the guy came over, "Yes, sir. Taxi, right over here. Give me a tip," and I flipped it up. I got that from Emil Jannings. I watched the picture, Hotel Europa. And I saw the picture with Emil Jannings, and he was the doorman. And one night, it was raining, and they were going to give him the heavy trunk, and it slipped. And the manager was there. And he said, "Was der andere rief dann Schlager." I got out with the andere, and they demoted him down. He was the guy who hands you the towel in the toilet. He was demoted to that. But they had two endings. They had an ending where he was down and out, and another ending where a fellow liked him. He says, "You're here? Come on, you come in my business." And it turns out it was successful. So these things could go either way. But the best part is that you were part of it. You were part of an experience. And that's the main thing. It's not just the laughter. It's the part of the experience of going through something. To see somebody else in trouble and how they get out of it. And that's why you laugh, because you're relieved. Laughter is a relief. It's a release. You know, when you laugh too hard, you start to cry. And if you cry too hard, you start to laugh. So there's a very, very fine line between laughter and crying. If you laugh too hard, you start to cry. If you cry too hard, you start to laugh. So it's actually crying and laughter are a release. And it gives you the release.
You were in a room with 7 young comedians now. What qualities would you look within them that would give you an idea that they would be successful? If you were in a room with 7 young comedians right now, what qualities would you look for to give you an indication that they would be successful?
What qualities would make me feel that they were successful? Well, they'd be relaxed, or they'd be anything. But they would be at ease with themselves if they were. No, they don't have to be at ease. I know a lot of rich people who are very, very mad at themselves. But there's a feeling that goes with life. And it's a good feeling and it's a bad feeling. It's all, again, I say it's attitude. It's up to you. It's how you take things. If something goes wrong, hey, it's not right, it's not this, and you feel bad, but it's the way you accept it. You can make it tough on yourself, or you can make it easy on yourself. It's all up to you. If you want to fight, and you should fight. You should fight. You want to, because everybody wants to live. But during the living, you got to enjoy it, because it's the trip. The trip is the living. When you live, you're living through an experience, and you try to enjoy it. It's not all good all the time, but it's an experience that you can go through and learn from it. Learn from the bad wasses. Learn from the bad things. Don't do it again. Make yourself at ease with yourself. Put yourself at ease. I know when I start to get an anxiety attack, I say, what happened from 2 seconds ago to now? Oh, I have this feeling. I'm not going to give in to it. And I don't. And the anxiety attack passes by. Because you fought it. You fought it back, and now, because there's no reason for it, because all of a sudden you think of something, you're going to get attacked. Take it easy. Give yourself a break. I mean it. Give yourself a break. Give yourself the freedom of saying, I don't have to go through this. I really don't. I don't have to go through it, and then that's it. You're right. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Whatever you say is okay. Yes. No, I don't want to argue anymore. That's all. No, finished. I love you. I want to take you out. You don't want to go. Why don't you want to go? Why both of us can go out, we can go out and have fun. Why should we argue like this? For what? You know we're going to make up. We're not going to make up. We're married 85 years. You're going to tell me we're not going to... So it's how you handle things. If your wife gets mad at you, so she's mad. What are you going to do? You try to correct what you did, and you probably did something wrong. But admit to it. Yeah, I'm sorry I did it. Yes, I'll never do it. I'll try not to do it again. But if she gets mad and keeps going, oh, take it easy. Don't have to rush. You got plenty of time to holler at me. Whatever you... And don't take it to heart, because that's what the grisha. I'm gonna, you know, when I used to drive a car, and the guy would come and cut me off. I go, I would take the car, go over him or under him, around him, on top of him. I would. Now, I say, cut me off. I'm never going to see that person ever again in my life. I will never, ever, ever, never see that person. And I'm going to risk for all my work, everything I did, to get even with this putz. So you give yourself a break and you say, that's it. Anybody? Yes. What?
Is Mel Brooks as crazy as he appears? Is Mel Brooks as crazy as he appears?
Mel Brooks is not crazy. He's smart. He's a man who gets your attention, and he does things, and he's very, very good. He's an excellent writer. He's an excellent comedian. And all these people were geniuses. I mean, Larry Gelbart is a genius, truly. I beg your pardon? No, there were fights in the room. I mean, not fights, fights. But I'm saying we were big arguments, and because they believed in what they were writing. And he believed, and he believed. And we say, hey, wait a minute, let's try it out and see which is funnier. And we could see, when I used to be in the writer's room, they didn't have to go upstairs to try something out. I was there. I would say, it's funny, but it doesn't have legs. It doesn't have legs. It can't, because our sketches used to go 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes the whole hour. Truly. It's let the police run. But the main thing is, you see, the reason why I didn't put my shows out into commercial television, because when I was doing television, there were 3 commercials a half hour. They were 1 minute and 10 seconds long. 1 minute and 10 seconds long, and then you went. So there were 3 commercials, that's 3.5 minutes a commercial. Now you take an hour, that's 7 minutes a commercial. In an hour, that means you have 53 minutes of show, right? In an hour and a half, you double it again. So if they took it, they got commercials now that run 4 or 5 minutes. So where do they get? Harry, I need 14 seconds. Okay, clap, 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 clap. Okay, that's it. They would make banjo chicks out of it. It would be, I couldn't see all that work going for nothing. So I'd rather sell them and put them out in their whole, in their original. And I saw a miracle. I truly did. I saw a miracle when I went to the digital place where these films are over 50 years old. And they ran them through this machine, and they looked brand new. It's like being reborn again. When I saw that stuff, I went, oh my God, that's beautiful. I saw the clock redone. The clock was all cracked, and the sound, and they redo the soundtrack, and they redo everything, and it comes out better than the way it was the first night. It was, when I sat there and saw that, it was like saying, I give birth to a child. It was just beautiful. Something that technology really warms your heart. Yes. Yes. I must say, to work for people like you, who appreciate, who know, it's a different world today. Today, anything goes. Good evening, Mother. And what happened to good evening, ladies and gentlemen? Whatever happened to that? I mean, the world today is everything is in your face. In your face. Nobody takes the time to look at somebody, to hear somebody, to feel somebody. Everything is get out of my way. And I hope we go back to the days of being careful about ourselves. We care for each other. I care for people. I care for people to do things. And that's why I put these DVDs out and these tapes out, so people can see it and laugh, and you don't have to be afraid. You know, we weren't allowed to say damn. Damn. Pregnant was a dirty word. You could say she is with child or she is expecting. That's it. Not she's pregnant. But this was the standard. And it was good because it forced us to think. You're forced to think. And you can't get by with a piece of toilet paper hanging off somebody's, when he comes out of the bathroom, there's some toilet paper hanging on his heel. That's a cheap laugh. And the cheap laugh to me is cheap. I'd rather get a laugh that means something to people, and that laugh say, yeah, 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 that's the way it is. That's the way it's supposed to go. And life goes on whether you like it or not. Yes. Yes. Oh yes, I keep. I see Carl.
The question was, and actually we just got the 2-question warning, so We're going to have one more question after this. The question was, do you still keep in touch with people from the show?
Yes, I do. We go to parties together. We go to see each other. Yes. Steve Allen was a man, I used to call him the Renaissance man. This man knew, you could talk to him on any subject. A brilliant man and a brilliant comedian. I mean, a very, very close friend. And a man who I respected and still respect. As a man of honor, a man of true, I mean, he wrote a book about religions. And it was really very, 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 he's a great writer. I mean, nobody took him seriously because he was a comedian. But I thought him a true friend and a wonderful, wonderful man. Truly.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Mr. Caesar so much. This is quite a remarkable and privilege.
Thanks for listening. For more information on 92nd Street Y and all of our programs, please visit us at 92y.org. This program is copyright 2003 by 92nd Street Y.